Well, hello there, everyone, on this late Sunday evening. DJ Wagner's a Razorback. How about that? We've been waiting for, I don't know, 2, 3 weeks now, and we knew at some point that this was going to happen, but just so turns out that it happens as I'm driving back from Branson, seeing some family. So apologies for the delay, but here we are. Shout out to Richard Davenport over at the Arkansas Democrat Gazette for having it first. But DJ Wagner commits to the Razorbacks, so finally Arkansas adds that piece to the backcourt that they so desperately needed with a veteran, experienced SEC caliber ball handler to supplement some of the other things they've done. They have 8 scholarship players now, and does this mean? Like, does it stay? The momentum stash, does it go? We got a lot of things we got to figure out here, but pretty good stuff here on a late Sunday evening.
Yeah, not too bad. Sorry about your plans, buddy. It's I was deep into the Mavs playoff game. I'm all on board the Mavs bandwagon this offseason. I
Love that,
just,
man.
They're a whole lot of fun. But yeah, shout out to Richard. Getting this, like it feels like we've been preparing for this and talking about this. We've been prepared for this for 3 weeks.
I know.
And we've been talking about this dude for over a month. So yeah, shout out to Richard for getting it. I'm honestly, dude, I'm just glad hopefully the report is right. Hopefully this dude is on board. Hopefully
I trust that man
on campus. Yeah, I trust Richard. There's no reason for me to believe that it's inaccurate. But welcome to the squad, DJ Wagner, and
yeah.
Welcome to the preseason top 15 for now, Arkansas. I mean, I think this is what Arkansas needed to get from like that. I don't know. I've texted you this before. Like I feel like on a previous episode, I felt like Arkansas was maybe top 15 roster as is. For a while, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I kind of think they're fringe top 25. But John Rothstein felt like Arkansas getting a Duke the Arrow was worthy of pushing them from 31 to 13. I wasn't quite that high on them. I thought they were kind of fringe top 25 after that. You add another body that gives you, I feel like you can realistically go and play and win games now.
Yes.
I feel like with 8 guys. So I feel like this pushes them to the top 15 in my opinion.
I think so, man. Yeah, I really feel like it solidifies things quite a bit. Just from a sheer numbers standpoint, I mean, last year as a true freshman in the SEC, and I've said it before, but I'll go ahead and say it again because we might have some new listeners on here tonight. But Scottie, it's tough to be DJ Wagner from a standpoint of he was a former number 1 ranked recruit in the country, had a huge name and a huge brand and a huge following in high school. Was still a top 10 5-star McDonald's All-American when he wound up popping for Kentucky. Expectations were super, super high. Did he meet the expectations at Kentucky in year 1? Probably not. I mean, I think he probably thought he was going to be a one and done. They probably thought he was going to be a one and done type of dude. So from that standpoint, maybe not. Not a finished product yet, but that doesn't mean he was a bad player. I mean, we're talking about a guy here who made 28 starts for Kentucky on a team that had a loaded backcourt, whether you agree with that thought process or not. And he averaged just under 10 points, 3.3 assists, and a couple rebounds per game. Had a great assist to turnover and was a catalyst for, I get it, they lost to Oakland in the first round, but that was a good Kentucky team. It was a fun Kentucky team, and he played through some injuries. So I like the pickup. I think he's a dude who we talk about solidifying things. That's exactly what they did with this. They had to get an experienced ball handler. And listen, there are over 2,000 dudes in the transfer portal. He was number 51 overall. He was the top remaining available point guard in the transfer portal. And you have the added benefit of a dude who's experienced in the SEC. He's experienced with John Calipari and a lot of guys on that coaching staff. He's familiar and knows Kenny Payne and has a good relationship there. He's played with Big Z. He's played with a Duke the Arrow. He knows these freshmen who are coming in. So a lot of familiarity, a lot of continuity that you otherwise wouldn't have had. I think it's a hell of a pickup for Arkansas. I really do.
No, it's great. Really good pickup. And we've mentioned, it alleviates some of that year 1 freshman year ball handling pressure from Boogie. Like, you still want him to do some of that, but now you've got a guy, you might be able to slide Boogie down to like that 1C in terms of who you would want to have in the ball in their hands. I'm going to read some of this stuff just real quick. I'm not going to be a robot with this, but just some stuff from the what to expect from DJ Wagner story that is now live on our website. Wagner finished with 3 or more assists in 20 games last year, 5+ in 7 games. He was on the positive side of the assist to turnover ratio in 21 of the 29 games he played. Only had 4 games with more than 2 turnovers. That's pretty good.
You'll take that.
Yeah, I would definitely take that. And shout out to Cameron Drummond at the Lexington Herald Leader. It feels like I've reached out to him literally a month ago at this point, and he turned around some insight for me really fast, and it's really good. Like, he'll I think between him and CJ Moore, I think CJ Moore of The Athletic, you'll get a really good idea. Of course, everybody's been looking into this dude for months on end at this point, right? So everybody kind of knows what his game is. But if you want a couple different quotes on DJ, check that story out. I think CJ Moore laid it out pretty good. At this point, like, DJ, at this point in his career, he's better driving to pass than he is driving to score. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned it on I guess it was Saturday morning pod. He can get into the lane kind of when he wants. Not super explosive, not the greatest athlete, but I feel like he's got enough burst to almost get where he wants. And I think his size, he's pretty strong, but he can get into the teeth of the defense, and he can finish with either hand. Sometimes really nice with the left hand finish. He can throw up some floaters too, but I think where he can get in trouble is he can throw up some contested floaters and runners and stuff like that when he meets that back line help big sometimes when he drives. But I think there's something to work with that jump shot. Like, it doesn't look bad at all. And
I'll tell you when it really didn't look bad, it was against Arkansas in Rupp Arena. So he was 4 of 5 from 3 in that game.
Yeah, that's a fact. CBB analytics actually it says this: beyond the arc, he found, like, DJ was really good from deep. At the top of the key was 16 of 43. That's 37%. And he only made, he didn't make that many threes on the year, but I think there's something to work with that top of the key 3. I'd keep shooting them from there if I was him,
Yeah.
But I think this summer can be about growth too, and expanding and being a little bit more efficient with your interior game, your game off the dribble, your spot up jump shot, whatever you pull up jump shot too, everything. You're going to be working on everything this summer. So, but I don't think DJ's a lost cause in terms of jump shooting. I think if you can get him 33 to 35%, I think you're in a great spot.
I agree with that. Yeah. And we've, again, we're kind of repeating some things here because we've been talking about DJ and his potential commitment for what feels like a month now. I guess it kind of has been, but you talk about getting to that 33 to 35% range. And on the surface, that seems like a pretty big jump. He was a tick under 30% last year, but it was 4 made threes over the course of the entire season. Like, if he would have made 1 more 3 every 7 games last season, he would have been at 33.3%. So it's really not that much now. And that would have been at about 1 make per game. So can you get more volume to coincide with more more efficiency? Maybe, maybe not. But it does give you another guy. Like, you still have to respect him from 3. Like, he's not a dude that teams can just back off and dare him to shoot. They might want to do that, but he can certainly burn you. I mean, he proved that against Arkansas. We'll see if, how healthy he is, how much work he puts on it. I thought you brought up a good point with working on his intermediate game a little bit, really getting that floater package going, the stop and pop game. Cause you're right. Like, he's not that explosive vertically. So being able to elevate and knock down that jumper before he meets that backline defender would be important for him. Speaking of defense, I think there's some promise there on the defensive end. I actually think he's got some dog in him as an on-ball defender. Like, I think he can be pretty disruptive, a guy they can pick up. You've alluded to it in the past, though. Like, it becomes taken a step forward as a team defender and a guy who doesn't get lost or lose focus off the ball. And those are things that you see from freshmen that they correct. You see guys who maybe don't shoot as well in their debut season in the SEC, and they get better over the course of their careers. And DJ Wagner, like, he was rated and thought of as highly as he was for a reason. He's a really, really talented basketball player. So, I think worst case scenario, you have a dude who's been there, done that, and you kind of know what you're going to get. And he's someone that you can rely on and trust to have the ball in his hands while a Boogie Flan gets up to speed. And it takes some pressure off of Nelly Davis from having to initiate and facilitate a bunch. And he can really focus on being that alpha type scorer. Best case, you have a DJ Wagner who does take that leap from freshman to sophomore year, gets better, becomes more of a threat, and then your backcourt's just that much more dynamic. But I feel good about it, man. I really do, and this is good for Arkansas. And then now they can kind of push their chips all into the final basket, whether it's one or two more guys here. But it just narrows some things down. You have fewer desperate needs now on this roster, and it's almost like you're kind of trying to put the cherry on top or the icing on the cake, whatever cliche you want to use, to really, really push this roster over the top. So it's a good night, good things for the Hogs.
Yeah, this is a really good Sunday night. It's a really good get, Curtis, if I had to say.
Good get.
No, you mentioned it defensively, and I'll say this briefly, and we can move on. But Cameron Drummond, when he sent me that intel from just what he saw from DJ in his freshman season at Kentucky, the kid's going to be at his best when he's operating a half-court offense and keeping defenses honest with his jump shot. Like, that's pretty cut and dry. Like, and you need that at the point guard spot, because you cannot have a point guard who is so ill-equipped with his jump shot that he allows his initial defender and then other defenders, to like just completely not play him at all. Like, you can't have that. You've got to have your initial defender engaged. Defensively, I think he's going to be a really solid point of attack defender. Like, that's what Cameron Drummond told me. And you mentioned, you alluded to it, to just a little bit of a question mark in terms of him, getting a little bit of spacey off the ball. But I like you probably see it in one of the pictures on our website right now. DJ will get down in a defensive stance, and he will sit down and he will guard you. And I think that's really good to have, because I feel like you've got that maybe in that 3-4 range with the Thiero. It's going to be nice, like saying right now that DJ can be like a lockdown defender for you might be a little bit of a stretch, but I think he can maybe get there potentially. And then he can stay on the floor because he can, get to the rim. Maybe that jump shot's improved and he can facilitate for, X number of shooters that you have on the floor with him. So yeah, it's a really good get. DJ's going to be really solid here.
If he's the worst defender that you have in your backcourt, your backcourt's pretty solid defensively.
Yeah.
And that might be the case here overall. We'll see. I mean, we'll see how this roster wraps up, but yeah, I mean, it's good stuff. And, again, so now let's think about it here for a second. I mean, they went and got, Boogie Flan and Carter Knox, who were both McDonald's All-Americans. You add DJ Wagner here, who was a McDonald's All-American. He was the co-MVP of the McDonald's All-American game when he played in. I think he had 19 points in that game. He scored all of them in the second half. So like, he was really cooking in that game. But this is good, man. And the other thing that I love about it, and kind of hinted at it a minute ago with the continuity standpoint of things, but that's what you worry about the most with this team. With Calipari taking over, they got no scholarship players. We've all seen the clip a million times. I talked to the team. There is no team. You knew that Arkansas was going to get a really strong collection of talent, but we've seen that with Eric Musselman in the past, although this is at a little bit different level than that. But it's all about, can you bring it together? Can you make the pieces fit? And from one standpoint, you got a bunch of new dudes and new, new faces and new places, if you will. But in this sense, I just love that you have three kind of core foundation pieces who have played for Cal, who have played with each other that are coming in here. So yeah, they'll be playing in Bud Walton Arena instead of Rupp, but these guys know each other. They understand their tendencies. They know the expectations. That helps you so much when you're trying to establish a culture and build chemistry early. And it's kind of the same idea with these freshmen. You go out and you get a couple of the top 10 transfers in the country to pop. And like you said, it's got all the makings of a really good top 20, top 15 caliber team. And then obviously now it's all about how they wrap this thing up, which I'm sure is the crux of the chat right now, probably asking those questions. So
I could imagine.
I say we just get right into the chat, because what we do sometimes, Scottie, is we have a few bullet points that we want to talk about, and we go on and on and on. We're like, yeah, we'll get to the chat at the end. And there's like 300 comments in there, and we've already gone for an hour, and like, maybe we'll just get to a handful of them. So I say we start now and see where the night takes us. But I know everybody's excited, man.
Yeah, I'll start with this one. BKJ Bearcat 78 says, I thought Arkansas was NIL poor. That's the old narrative.
That's right.
Nobody these days is saying that at all. No one. That's
not broke.
You remember when Eric was a candidate for that SMU job, and we were listening to that podcast, and Billy Embody was like, yeah, Arkansas, like NIL wise, they're broke. They're poor. Yeah. And SMU's got a war chest. And now it's like Arkansas's got the war chest. So
SM who?
It's the old narrative, man.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. I know some of that chatter came out. I guess it was last week, maybe, and it's the kind of stuff that happens. Like, you have a visit, you have expectations, you think a guy's going to commit, he doesn't, then you're wondering what's going on. And all of a sudden it's, well, yeah, DJ Wagner doesn't want to play for Cal. That's been hat the whole time. It's just looking for a reason why it hasn't happened. Well, they've used up all the NIL. It's all gone. That's why they don't have these guys committed. That's not true. It's not a never ending supply, but you can always go get more if you need it. Like if you really have a dude, like, so who knows what kind of NIL package DJ Wagner's getting, but if Coleman Hawkins or whoever, comes to Cal or comes to Arkansas and says, hey, like, I'll come play for you guys for this price. And if Cal goes and talks to John Tyson or whoever and says, look, this is what we need to get the finishing touches put on our roster, he's going to get it. So don't worry about that. NIL ain't an issue for sure.
Yeah. And by the way, Matt Norlander tweeted 7 minutes ago, DJ Wagner committed to Arkansas, will be following John Calipari to Arkansas. The Wagner family confirmed to him.
So, nice. There we go. Love it.
Also, I'm just going to throw John Rothstein in the chat real fast. If you don't mind.
We can always throw Rothstein in the chat, baby. Let's go.
Early prediction on Arkansas's 2024-25 starting five. You ready?
Here we go. Yeah.
Boogie.
Okay.
DJ.
Okay.
Nelly. Adu Thiero, and Jonas Adu.
It's an interesting lineup.
You literally got all of your ball handlers out there.
Yeah.
All of them at once.
That's an interesting lineup. That would not be my five, but what would your five be right now? I could see that lineup playing together some. I don't think it's going to be their starting group.
I mean, yeah, that's a good question. I might go. I'm definitely putting Nelly and Boogie together. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to have a DJ off the bench. Like having all your ball handlers out there at the same time seems like overkill. Unless DJ
the entire point of depth is to be able to turn to someone, right? Like,
yeah. Unless DJ just really comes on with that jumper and he's your wing that you want to run with first. But I feel like it'll be Carter Knox or Billy Richmond probably. Mm-hmm. And then I do agree with Thiero and Adu. I like that. I like that as it stands. But if you get another big guy, you could probably talk me into Z and Adu. I think that's tough.
Yeah,
that's really tough. You're not going to be able to match that.
Yeah,
to start games.
I'm excited about it, man. It's crazy how much of a difference one piece can make, even a piece that you were expecting, because I do look at this roster and the combinations and the versatility a lot different now than I did before. I do feel a lot better about it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I would probably go. It's just so tough to be a true freshman point guard in the SEC, but Boogie's so good, man. I don't think you go wrong with Boogie or DJ. I'll give me DJ, whatever. Take a little bit of pressure off of Boogie.
Yeah.
Nelly, obviously. Yeah, Carter Knox, because I'm a little bullish on him, admittedly, and then Thiero and Jonas Adu. I think that'd be a heck of a lineup with some good pop coming off the bench. But yeah, depending on what they add from here, because they could go in a number of different directions. Which again, I'm sure we got plenty of questions about it, but it all kind of depends on whether or not they add. Is it a kind of a jumbo wing who can really stretch the floor, or is it a combo forward that can slide from the 4 to the 5 a little bit? Depending on what that piece looks like, it kind of changes the dynamic quite a bit. Either way, I think it has to be a 3-4 or a 4-5. Like, you got to have somebody who can play the 4 with a Thiero. And I think you need that. You can start a Thiero. I'm completely okay with that. I think he's going to have a heck of a season and a big impact. But I think the best version of Thiero is a dude where you can really let his versatility shine. And that means you can play him at multiple positions and use him in different matchups. If he's the only guy on your roster who can play the 4, I think that limits him in terms of what you can do in terms of utilizing him. So I hope that whatever they do, they wind up adding a guy who can help spell him there a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, there's lots of people that are chiming in right now with the with the starting lineup. I like it. And I'm a little bit ashamed of myself that I did a bold prediction like a week ago that Billy Richmond was going to start at least half the team's games, and I didn't throw him into my starting lineup. So I'm a little bit of a can't trust me at all type of guy right now.
Backtracking.
Yeah, backtracking big time.
I love it.
If I had my backtrack starting 5 is probably DJ, Nelly, Richmond, Z, and Adu.
There we go. Woo!
I think that's pretty tough.
Love it, man. I love it. We're getting closer.
That's long, buddy. That is a long group.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot going on. A lot of rim protection, a lot of defense, a lot of disruption. That'd be fun. And enough shooting, probably, in that lineup to get you by.
Word on the street is that Jonas Adu might want to get some up this year too. We'll see.
He can want in one hand and in the other, maybe.
Just the word. We'll have to see.
All right. Let me start rolling through some of these comments here. Our guy Hayden Ulmer, he says, "What shows did we catch this weekend, Curtis?" Yes, I was in Branson. The highlight of that trip, honestly, was getting to see my grandmother, who is well north of 90 years old, and she's doing really well, man. She lives with my aunt and uncle up there. I really wasn't knowing going into it exactly what to expect because she's getting up there in age. She's had some health issues going on, and I just wanted to get over there and visit with her. But we had just an intense family game of dominoes this afternoon, and it gets wild when we get together in there and start playing. And she really pulled the ultimate hustle, she's like, I can't really see these. How can I count these numbers? I can't even see what I can play. Oh, I can't pick up my dominoes. And then she wins. Like, she kicks all our asses in the end of it. So
sandbag, buddy.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, man. So that was the highlight. But we didn't go to any shows. We went up there. We stayed last night, and we stayed away from all the weirdness of the Strip, and we went down to the Landing. And that was a good time. Hung out at a brewery, and you know what happens when you put me in a brewery. So that was a good time. And then we ate at the Guy Fieri restaurant down there.
Ooh, nice.
So, yeah, it was pretty good. It's nachos, a burger. So yeah, it was solid. No shows this time though. I appreciate you asking. Let's see. Yeah, look, I mean, you know how it is. Arkansas gets a commit. Everybody's pumped about it. Got yes sirs, let's goes, woo pig, woo effing pig, a little bit of everything in here. So that's all good to see. Yeah. Russ, my man, Russ, we already answered your question here. What will the starting lineup be with the players we have? It seems like a lot of people are chiming in on that. The good thing is it's not cut and dry. because of the way Calipari is building out this roster, right? He's got this whole, hey, I'm going to have 8 or 9 dudes. Well, if you have 8 or 9 actual dudes, you don't have as many, bit role players and everything. So you can really take all 8 of these guys right now and plug them in any way you want to. And usually a pretty good lineup is going to come out of it. So good problem to have so far. Arthur Fullerton says highlight of the weekend so far. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty good. I'm glad that it happened. I was really thinking about this honestly the whole way we were driving home. We were probably, oh man, I don't know, like 20, 25 minutes away when the news started to come out about DJ. And the whole time I'm driving, I'm just thinking, if this dude doesn't commit this weekend, like what the heck are me and Scottie going to talk about on the pod tomorrow? And I was like, maybe we just won't do it tomorrow because of the holiday and we can stretch something out until Tuesday. I don't know, but I was stressing over it. So I'm very glad that he did this. So kudos to you, DJ Wagner. You're on my list of good people.
Yeah. The wait is over. Thank goodness. My gosh.
I know. H-Fan says, so glad this is done. Now on to Igor. Well, that's just it, right? I mean, it's all about who's next. Igor Dimon, I mean, shout out to him. He was cooking again. I guess his team won whatever tournament they're playing on, Real Madrid over there in Europe. Did you see his stat line from the championship game?
I did not.
He was cooking. Let me pull it up real quick. It was, I'm pretty sure it was Gavoni that tweeted it out. But he's just like, Igor Dimon he's just him, man. There's no other way to go about it. He went for, fantastic week at the Euro League for 6'9" Russian guard Igor Dimon, capped off with Real Madrid's overtime win in the championship game. 26 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks for the projected top 10 pick in 2025. That stat line is bonkers, dude. That's crazy.
That's wild. Yeah, that's touching the game in pretty much every aspect that you can. It's crazy.
It's unreal, man. Yeah, that's really good. And so I think the important, well, I mean, it's important that he's having success. So congratulations to him. But the big news here is like his season's done now. And so if this is a guy who's serious about playing college basketball, then he's going to get serious about making a decision. Arkansas, BYU, who else knows who's going to get involved there. But certainly there's been a lot of buzz towards Arkansas, but you just have to wonder, I don't know. Like, I feel like it might be a waiting game to see who from these stay or pro, like NBA guys, decides to come back. Or are they so confident in this dude that they just pounce on him right away and wrap it up? Or do they go for both? Maybe Cal is pulling the wool over our eyes this entire time and he's going to stretch it out to 10.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe that pie in the sky comment the other day is maybe not so much of an unreality.
Yeah, maybe not. And so I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But the good thing is between DJ getting committed and then Igor's season being done, and then all these other guys having until the 29th to decide if they want to go to college or go pro, the next several days is going to be very exciting. There's going to be no shortage of things to talk about, and it'll lead us straight into the baseball regional. So like from a content standpoint, this is good stuff for us. So I love it.
Yeah. I got that content cap on.
That's right. Zach Religious. That's a great name, by the way. Says, I can't imagine Boogie would start over DJ. I mean, I don't know. I mean, from one standpoint, I absolutely agree because like DJ, Cal started him all year over Reed Shepherd and Rob Dillingham. So I don't think it would be crazy for him to start him over Boogie Flam, but you never know. I mean, Cal also loves his freshmen. It's like nothing would surprise me. And like Rothstein threw out there, maybe he starts them both. Man, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so.
Either way, they'll both play a ton.
Maybe Cal is a little bit like Eric Musselman, where he likes to look down at the bench and see a little bit of a scoring pop there. We'll have to see.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think that just like Boogie, Nelly, DJ in the same lineup, I feel like you need a little bit more variety.
Yeah,
in that lineup, especially in the backcourt, and I think you'd be good to go.
Yeah, Absolutely love, a little bit off topic, but absolutely love this from H Van. Says his daughter rode her bike without training wheels for the first time tonight.
Love
And
that.
then DJ committed, so they're forever connected. I love both of those things. Like we've got just a committed father celebrating a milestone, and then also keeping it real. Like, yeah, yes, I'm also plugged into the DJ commitment, so we're going to connect these two things. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. That's
That's a
awesome.
big moment. I mean, like after taking the first steps as a baby, and then it's like I don't know, like first words, all those little milestones. But I feel like riding the bike without the training wheels for the first time, it's up there on the list of cool things that happens for
Oh yeah,
youngsters.
it's terrifying too, man, because you got no guardrails anymore. Really, I mean,
Yeah,
it's up to you whether you get a big scab on your elbow, looks like a big old slice of beef jerky
that's
on
right.
your arm
That's
or
right.
not. It's up to you, man. That's
Yeah.
that's big time.
Then you become an old man like me, and you just go on slightly faster than a walk jogs, and you just trip over your own damn feet on the concrete, and you get scabs and everything else all over your body consistently. I
Yeah,
feel like every time I walk in and see you guys, I got a Band-Aid on somewhere else.
I remember one time we were getting ready to record a pod, or maybe we were just finishing one in the office, and I look at your elbow and there's a Band-Aid on it, and I'm like, dude, what happened to your elbow? And you're just like, you didn't talk about it. And I'm like, okay, like Michelle put hands on you, or like what happened?
She doesn't. She
And
probably
then
should beat me, but she doesn't. But yeah, dude, I run and I just trip over cracks in the sidewalk, man. Like I get caught up in whatever I'm listening to, and I don't know if I'm like just not watching myself or what. I just fall down. It's weird. It's odd behavior. And so people are always like, "Man, I saw you running on the sidewalk. You look like Rocky wearing a hoodie." I do that because it's like it's either that or elbow pads, dude. Because I'm gonna take a spill. I'm trying not to bleed everywhere. It's weird. I got to work on it. Getting
yeah,
better. Maybe I need to stretch more. I don't know.
the fastest I go is the 3 setting on my lawnmower.
Heartbroken Hog says y'all aren't allowed to shave until this roster is done. Okay, I'm fine with it.
I mean,
Again,
I'll run the mustache out there until this thing's done for sure.
yeah, I say we go for it. And at this point, again, like Michelle, she might not like it. I understand that. I sympathize with the wife. I try to do what she tells me to. Not only is she leaving again for a week on Tuesday, so she has no control over what I do. She's going to Auburn for a week. So I feel like I got a lot of leeway here in terms of letting the stash fly, and she can't really say anything about it.
Yeah, I think so. Tell her to say hi to JP Pegues for me if he's
I'm
there.
definitely going to do that. Yeah, the whole the big cheer thing that she's working. That's all I was trying to figure out is like what facility they were in. Like I didn't know if they were going to be in Neville or what was going on, but they're going to have shops set up in the old whatever it's called where they played before Neville was a thing. And so
Okay.
it's like, I don't know, down the street or whatever. But I told her, I was like, keep your eyes out for, I'm going to send her with a picture, like you'd like get a picture of your girlfriend or whatever and put it in your wallet when you were in high
Yeah.
school, or I'm going to do that with JP Pegues and put it in her little pocketbook. And she's going to have to keep an eye out. You never know where you're going to catch these dudes. Cause I think they shared like the cafeteria with the student athletes while they're there. So she might get we'll get you an autograph is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. I need something to put on my walls,
That's right. Hoggo Sports, another great name, says Hawkins or Deming, come on down. Maybe a Riley reclass. I think that's Will Riley, who, by the way, 2025 kid, 6'9", but is a guard, just absolutely destroying the EYBL. I mean, he's been putting up crazy numbers in grassroots. He is a reclass candidate. Arkansas is in there, Kentucky's in there, but several schools are in there. I don't know, Scottie, if you've seen this dude play at all, if you've seen some of his highlights popping up, he is a bad man. It's like if we get to make it down to Peach Jam, he's one that I'm really looking forward to watching. This dude is a ton of fun. And we'll start talking about these 2025 guys here as we move on throughout the course of the summer and this roster wraps up. But yeah, he's a bad dude. We've talked a lot about Demon. And Coleman Hawkins, we just wait and see. I mean, a dude who seems like he's, pretty, I wouldn't say desperate, but he would like to start his pro career. I mean, he's been in college for 4 years. He's probably done with all that mess. But like we said a million times, money talks, man. And when you want a guaranteed in the NBA, you need to be a guaranteed draft pick. And in a year like this, where it's a very weak class, you need to be probably top 45 minimum to really feel like you have a case for that.
Yeah.
Some mocks he's in the 50s, some mocks he's not even on it. And so do you want that two-way deal at $500K, or you want to come back to college and cash in for a year? We'll see what happens. He's working out with some NBA teams. The beauty of it is he's got to make up his mind by Wednesday, and then we'll really know. If the dude says he's coming back to college, Arkansas is going to be all over that, and one of the favorites there to land him. Doesn't mean they'll get him for sure, because there's going to be a lot of schools who see that kind of impact player coming back aboard. But I think he'd be a great fit, and certainly one that we're going to have our eyes on.
I think I go back and forth on Igor and Hawkins about every day.
I know,
the days that you read Igor's stat lines to me from what he's doing in the playoffs, those are the days that I want him a lot.
My goodness, dude.
And the other days I can really get on board with Hawkins, like bringing the ball up and then running in, an inverted pick and roll with Nelly Davis. And then I just get tingly and all that kind of stuff. But like, I don't know. I feel like at this point, I don't know why I'm thinking about this right now. Just a guy that's low to no maintenance. I don't know that Hawkins is necessarily that.
He definitely ain't that.
I feel like anybody that you get at this point in the year, at this point in the recruiting cycle, you're going to have a little bit of the maintenance that goes along with it. But man, you're probably going to get a hell of a player too. So I don't think they go wrong with either one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Also, we've had several people who are chiming in and just conversations within the chat, just about the storms, man, the tornadoes and everything that hit in Rogers and Bentonville. Man, that made my stomach turn waking up this morning and seeing some of that footage from that. So really do hope that everyone's all right and hanging in there. It's just devastating when you see stuff like that. But if there is a silver lining out there, it's that this is a really supportive area, man. And people are just going to be lining up to offer their assistance any way they can, whether it's financially or helping with cleanup and rebuild and everything like that. And also shout out to Cal for right away, putting a tweet out there. And one thing that I've seen consistently from BBN, even when they're really salty with Cal for everything, is that when it comes to times of need and helping in the community, that he's been great with that. And he's got a big voice that can make a big impact. And so I would imagine he's going to be all over that. And then remember, was it this year? Was the Purdue game the tornado relief game, the exhibition game?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, even keep an eye out for things like that can help with the effort, in a positive manner, man. So, but yeah, I hate that, but I'm glad to see that the people around here are okay. That's just, it's scary stuff, man. And it's devastating. So prayers out to everybody impacted.
For sure. And like I saw when Cal put his tweet out, there was a Kentucky fan that got in the comments was like, man, Cal's having to tweet about, thinking about people who have been affected by and impacted by tornadoes too much lately. Like he's right. Like Hot Springs not too long ago, Northwest Arkansas, Bentonville, Rogers, now Kentucky. Gosh, I can't even remember when that was, but it's pretty crazy, man. And my mom lives up that way. Like she's in, she's not quite in Bentonville, but like she goes to church in Rogers, and her, like, they didn't even have church today, I don't think, because they couldn't get to the road that goes to the church because of, trees are down, limbs are down, all that kind of stuff. Don't have power up there, all that kind of stuff, man. It's scary. So I would like to say, like, if there's any way that we can help, let us know. But I would love to help. I just don't know how I can, but I can be happy to get my hands dirty if anybody needs it.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Well said. On a lighter note from Benjamin Harrison, he says Arkansas batters can now focus. That now that DJ is committed, you can tell it's been on their minds. Yeah, for the love of all things holy, can we please not do the thing in this regional this weekend, Arkansas? Can we not ho-hum, win 3 straight, be done with it, and move on to the supers? Like, no regional drama, please. I can't wait though to see. We need to get together tomorrow, maybe for the selection show, And I don't even know if Ellis is back in the state or the
I think
country. I don't even know where he's been.
tonight.
Is he getting back tonight? Okay, then maybe
Right.
maybe we'll all get together. I don't know. I don't know what he has planned for all that, but I'm really anxious to see the draw. And I've been seeing some names, man. Like I've been seeing TCU pop up there again, and I get it. Like it's not the same TCU as last year, but miss me with that. I've been seeing Wake Forest as a potential draw for Arkansas in a regional, and like they've fallen short of expectations, but they were the team that was most frequently picked ahead of Arkansas in the national polls at the beginning of the year. So like they're immensely talented. Just get some mid-major in here as a 2 seed, get some team from the Northeast, some cute story that Arkansas fans will love, for the 4 seed. And let's just ho-hum, get through here, no drama, and move on.
Yeah,
just
don't
deprive
nice?
us of Omaha.
I saw maybe it was the D1 baseball projection today, had Arkansas obviously as a 1, the 5 seed, and then the 4 seed in the regional was Oral Roberts, who I think was it last year they were in Omaha, because there was a kid. I think there was a kid on that. There was definitely a kid on that roster that hit a big time home run. One of those games I covered him when he played football at Springdale Harvard. Blaze Brothers, hell of an athlete, dude. Like he's,
Yeah.
I mean, tougher than a nail. But Arkansas in that same projection was matched up like in a super with NC State. How would you like that?
That would be.
How would you like that?
Nuts.
There was another projection I saw with UC Santa Barbara. I don't know anything about them, but I don't feel like you want anything to do with the Gauchos.
No, bro. In any of those teams out there, UC Santa Barbara, Fullerton, like any of those random Cal satellite schools, it's bad news. It feels like
all those schools.
Yeah, you got to stay away from that. Exactly.
Hey, we were talking about it on John's show the other day. Arkansas baseball started hitting that skid, in between commitments. So maybe this shakes things up.
I mean, I think it sounds good. Everything's lining up the way we thought, right? John Calipari posing with Derek Jeter, DJ Wagner. He commits over the weekend. Baseball stunk since Wagner visited. Now he's committed. They'll turn it around just in the right time. I mean, it's science, people. We're just connecting the dots for you. Heartbroken Hog says, this is interesting. Does Arkansas have the best starting 5 in the SEC now? I would, sorry in advance, I would probably still go Bama here if
I think
Sears
Alabama and Auburn's going to have pretty tough lineups they roll out there.
Yeah, if Sears comes back, I mean, you're talking about, I mean, that's going to be a tough one to top. Now, I think Arkansas is competitive with it, absolutely, but that's a heck of a lineup there. Auburn you mentioned, so they're rolling with Pegues, Denver Jones, Chad Baker, Mazzara, whoever at the 4, and then Janai Broome. So that's pretty tough. And they just picked up Georgia Tech, the dude who's led Georgia Tech in scoring for 2 straight years. They picked up today to finalize that roster.
That might be their 4.
He's a wing. He's a wing. Yeah, he's 6'6" guard, but maybe they're going to go a little bit smaller. I don't know. But it's I was kind of happy to see that, even though my dog's mad. Even though I think he's going to be a good player for him, but that fills him up. Like it finalizes the roster. So maybe it takes him off the board for Arthur Kaluma or like whoever that they could add at that 4 spot. So maybe that helps a little bit, but yeah, no, I think Arkansas is right up there now. And if they add another impact dude who could slide in the starting lineup, I mean, you can put him right up there with anybody. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Let's see. What we got here? Joe Enoch says, "All right, fellas, great news to come home from my gig to here in Key West. Is this our man?
Joe the Show, yeah.
Joe the Show. Okay, yeah. Just for the record, Joe the Show is the man. Okay, we hung out with him when we were in the Bahamas at the Battle for Atlantis, and he had a buddy, by the way, who just hit a massive parlay.
He was
while we were hanging out at the sportsbook. It was nuts, man. And we were sitting there with him while he was waiting on Dame Lillard to make a free throw.
Oh, it was the craziest day. I was so stressed out. I had nothing to do with it. He was on ESPN Gamecast seeing if Damian Lillard was going to make some free throws, so his 10-leg parlay could hit.
Oh my God,
crazy!
Yeah, that was
I'm
nuts,
spazzing
man.
out again thinking about it. I was so nervous for him.
Yeah, Joe the Show is good people, man. That was a fun time hanging out there and in the Bahamas at Atlantis. It's good stuff. Let's see. Yeah, Porkenstein says even the dog is excited. Yeah, he's wound up, man, and good for him because we had dinner reservations that we were gonna go grab a bite tonight once we got back in town, and so we had the dog sitter come over and she hangs out with him. She gets him all excited. She feeds him and everything, and she just like she was pulling out of our neighborhood as we were pulling back in with this breaking news. So he's been like double wound up right now. So I'm surprised he hasn't been louder than he has been. So, let's see here. Yeah. Thank you for the birthday wishes. It's tomorrow. Today was my mom's birthday. Mine is tomorrow. So we kind of had that thing going on, but let's see. I like this right here. Yeah. Arthur Fullerton, you had some good comments in here, brother. He said 3 Kentucky transfers, 3 freshmen, now need the 3rd portal stud. I agree. Yeah. For a well-balanced diet of a Final Four roster, this is what you need to do. You need to add that 3rd portal stud now.
That sounds like it. I think I'm going to go check Arkansas's website right now and see if Arthur's on the support staff.
I like this.
He's like senior advisor to the head coach, or he was in like that, what was that guy that was on the bench last year literally sat behind Eric? Gosh, just in that kind of role, just like a senior advisor role. I think, yeah, I need to check.
And just in a perfect time, Pamela, come on, Pamela. What do we do? We have to, out of all the BBN haters out there, we got Pamela coming in here. She says, I'm not crying because you have Cal and you are NIT bound or 1st round loss in the NCAA history. And then Pamela's just in here going at it with people in she's laughing at us for saying built for March. You know, it's just, this is wild. She said, I'm sticking around like you do, like you pigs do. Pamela, come on.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I would like to say thank you for tuning in and thank you for spicing up the chat, but it's time to move on from your man Cal. I mean, this really comes off as jealous ex-girlfriend vibes. It really does. And I understand it stings. I mean, you lost a coach who, you know, he's a active Hall of Famer. You know, 6 Final Fours. He's won a national championship. 58 draft picks. I get it. Like it's a tough pill to swallow. It's a tough loss. But throw your support to Mark Pope instead of throwing your hate at John Calipari and the Razorbacks. I think you'll feel better eventually if you do. It's it's part of the process. What, like the 5 steps of grieving or whatever. Like, I mean, I get it. It's going to take time. I think some people were in denial for a while. We're still seeing some anger. Like everybody handles this in their own time frame. It's going to be okay though. But I do want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. And sometimes it's good for you if you just let it out. And if you need to let that out to us, that's okay. We're here for it. We'll offer a listening ear. Yeah, it's a safe space. We'll give a little bit back, but we won't go overboard with it. So, you know, like you're welcome here, but just a little advice, you know, it's just be in for Mark Pope. It's okay.
Yeah. So, some of these comments, dude,
this kept going, didn't it?
Comments have got me, dude. Just several of them. I'm not going to read them, but man, y'all go through it. It's crazy.
This is pretty awesome. Yeah, I like this. I'm happy with this. Oh yeah. Wow. It really did keep going. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. A lot of people in here are saying Igor or Hawkins next. That seems like where they're at. And those are like that. It's been the 2 hottest names. We've heard the smoke from Jack Pilgrim over at KSR. Pam, you should be listening to Jack Pilgrim right now, not us. Right. But he says that Wooga Poplar is going to visit Arkansas in addition to Kentucky. Does that make you nervous? I wonder. I mean, does it make you a little bit worried? I mean, after missing out on Chaz Lanier, Wooga seems like an important potential piece for Kentucky there, but I don't know. Like if he's competing with Cal for a guy, like if Cal's serious about it, he might snipe him too. So I don't know. we'll just have to see what happens. But you might just, if that happens and we're doing the breaking news, Wooga Poplar commits to Arkansas, we expect to see you back here, I guess is what I'm saying. But in all seriousness, I don't know how serious they really are about that one.
I love that version of you.
With DJ Wagner on board now, I don't know how much sense Wooga Poplar makes unless you just really are committed to going small ball, 4-guard types of lineups. But he's a really good player, so I'd take him and make it work. But he would be lower on my priority list, honestly, than an Igor or a Coleman Hawkins, a Jalen Wells if he comes out of the NBA draft, guys like that. So we'll see what happens. But I'll be very, 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 very interested to see if he actually makes that Arkansas visit or if it's just a deal. And like we've seen in the past, it would be dudes putting Arkansas on their list of finalists because that was a sexy name to put on there when Muss really had things rolling. Is this everyone knows Arkansas is loaded, and so if we put Arkansas on the list of potential visits and teams prioritizing a guy, how much will it boost his NIL value? So we'll see what happens. It's got my attention though, that's for sure.
I'm going to give a little quick shout out to Daniel Gafford. The Mavs are up 3-0.
Hey.
I believe that game's over. Yeah, Dallas won game 3, 116-107. Gafford didn't have like a big number game like he's had in the first couple games in the series, but he was 5 points, 3 boards, an assist, 3 blocks, and Curtis, for the first time in, I'm going to say a month, the Mavs outscored their opponent when he was on the floor. I mean, his plus minus has not been good. Like I've been having to hide that a little bit when I wrote about him. Nobody seems to care when I write about it, but I mean, he's been playing great, dude. He's one of the reasons they went away from the finals, like straight up. He's playing his tail off. Shout out to Big Dan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Arkansas was little Dan, and he left as Big Dan.
Yeah. Speaking of shout outs, man, Kingsley, our guy, major shout out here. He says he didn't get to mention on the last show, but Takasha walked with honors last Wednesday. School's officially done and they can plan that trip to Northwest Arkansas. We got to hang out with them in person in Arlington at the baseball event there in February. Great people. That's really, really cool, man. I'm super excited to hear that. Congratulations. That's big time. And if you guys get down to NWA, you got to hit us up and come hang out, man, for sure. That's very, very cool, man.
Make sure you're wearing your brisket hat, and then we'll go
get some. Yeah, we'll go to Wright's, who is what was they the best barbecue in the country or whatever, according to who was it, USA Today or somebody?
Yelp, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Yeah, there we go. Pamela. She said she's doubled, tripled, quadrupled down. She says, we beat you in baseball. I'll give you that one. You did like 3 out of 4 times, I guess it was. Basketball this year. Yeah. But I mean, let's be honest here. And I get it because like Cal was coaching Kentucky. Now he's coaching Arkansas. So I'm kind of talking to myself here. But Musk kind of owned him up until this year, especially over in Rupp. Football. Like, when's the last time they played in football? Is that Chad Morris era?
Oh man, yeah, it was definitely Chad Morris era. It was his second year. I was actually there. Isn't that crazy?
Was that at Kroger Field or was that?
Yeah, Whole Hog paid for me to go to Lexington, and yeah, it was not a great experience. They beat Arkansas without a true quarterback. They just had I can't remember what the kid's name was, like a Bowden or whatever. They had him just wildcat quarterback.
Oh, that's right.
7-8 yards at a time, and then handed the ball to Cavassier Smoke or whatever his name was. And yeah, Chad Morris had nothing for that the little wildcat formation, that really tricky wildcat.
Yeah,
nothing. That was literally the game, Curtis, that Hunter Yurachek was like, yeah, this is when we realized that it really wasn't going to work with Chad. This was like the breaking point. The players have said it too. Yeah, Kentucky broke Chad Morris. Congrats on y'all.
Yeah, Kentucky broke him, and Western Kentucky ripped him in half and removed his soul. So, Shout out Ty Story. Anyway, A lot of people chimed in and they're asking about Nelly Davis and officially withdrawing from the NBA draft. Nothing to see there. I mean, and some of these guys, you think about it, a couple years ago, Stanley Amude did this. Last year, it was T Mark and L Ellis. There might have been others. I don't remember. Devo. Even if you have no intentions of staying in the draft, the more feedback you can get, the better. And so a guy like Nelly Davis, I know he's had some workouts and different things he's doing. You're just building relationships and going through these workouts and getting more feedback and figuring out what you got to work on. But there's no worry. Like he's not going to get drafted and he'll be at Arkansas next year. So nothing to worry about there. And some guys announce it. Like, like Adu leaked it, Jonas Adu leaked it to whoever, and they put it out there that he withdrew, and some other guys have done that. Not everybody does it either, because if you're not a projected draft pick, it almost seems kind of silly too. It's like the dudes who run out of college eligibility
and declare for the draft.
Yeah, exactly. I love those, by the way. You used to have to write stories about that, and I'm like, but why though?
Yeah.
Why? Let's see. Yeah, I had a couple people asking us about if we're going to go to an EYBL event. Yeah, like we plan on doing that at one of the next live periods here. We need to check on the Adidas circuit too, because it's not as loaded as the EYBL is, but it's got some dudes that Arkansas is recruiting there. But again, like, I don't know, like John Branson, if y'all are listening, Peach Jam, let us go. Let us go. Y'all can handle SEC football media days. We'll let the people decide. Like, would you rather Scottie and I be at Peach Jam covering all the 5-star recruits for John Calipari, or sitting in a room, asking Sam Pittman questions about this football team? You just let us know.
I don't want to listen to Mike Elko talk, bro. So let's go to Peach Jam. Get Joe the Show his T-shirts, and then send us to Peach Jam, and I think we'll be all squared away.
Yeah, there we go. I think we got it figured out here. Let's see. We are just about to the end here, so just a couple more. It's perfect timing because we'll be on that hard 1 hour out. That's what we're going for here. Yeah, a lot of people talking about that DJ Wagner. So, and it's true, man. Like, he did start over Reed Shepherd and Rob Dillingham all year, so something there.
I wanted to read one thing that Cameron Drummond sent me. It's a quote that's at the bottom of my analysis story on him. He said, Wagner's importance as a leader, despite his young age and limited college basketball experience, was clear last season. On a Kentucky team without many vocal leaders, Wagner found his voice in a big way, and it was clear that his teammates responded to him. So I think it's kind of neat that, like, he was like the pup on like a really young team, but when he spoke up, like, people listened to him. I think that's a big deal, I think. And you can, leadership from a young guy that can go a long way. And now, like, the coaching staff and a couple of guys on the roster are very familiar with that. So they can tell the other guys to get in line and listen to DJ, I think it's I don't think you can understate how big of a deal that is. Just another guard with experience and leadership qualities. I think it's fantastic.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that completely. And you need that, man. You got to have somebody. And to me, a lot of times that needs to be somebody in the backcourt too. Like, you just got the ball in your hands. It has to be the floor general, the guy that people listen to, a voice that commands some respect. And you can have that with other guys on the roster. I just like it better in the backcourt. Like, I think about, like, what big men have really been that commanding voice. And Arkansas has actually been lucky. I wouldn't say lucky, but they've actually had that a couple times recently, but I feel like it's the exception to the rule. Like, Jalen Williams was kind of that guy. Justin Smith was kind of that guy, but you like it to be, a guard who's got the ball in his hands more and everything. So that's really good to hear. That's high praise on DJ there. I like it. We got Pamela in here. She's telling people to go eat a bag of eggplants. Who says that? I don't understand. Who said that's crazy?
It's my bedtime, brother.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, we got to get out of here. This is getting too crazy. I don't even know what's going on anymore.
No pre-sleep eggplant for me.
Oh man. Hey, literally though, I mean, this has been crazy. Is this the first time that we've done Saturday and Sunday Pot at the Palace lives? I mean, this is unprecedented stuff
Yeah.
here. Really cool. And I was really impressed and honestly kind of blown away with the number of people who were tuned in live. And we were doing this at 9 o'clock yesterday morning.
Oh yeah.
That was really, really awesome. And now here we are, late on a Sunday evening, a holiday weekend. And we've just got a ton of people on here and participating in the chat. And you too, Pamela, we appreciate you. But in all seriousness, no, this is really cool, man. And it makes it exciting to do this. And we had to shift some things that we had going on around to get on here. But as soon as you do, and it's just me and you talking ball, and then we got a bunch of people in here who are excited. Like you forget about any minor inconveniences that go along with it. So thank you to everybody for rocking with us. This is really cool.
Where were your dinner plans? Where were you going to go?
Feed and Folly, man. Yeah, we were going to go to Feed and Folly here in town. And the reason why is
DJ Wagner, it wasn't just like a depth piece, because I would have told you to go to Feed and Folly instead. Man, we can figure this out tomorrow morning.
I know. And it's tough because we really like it there, especially their rooftop situation is really cool. We like the food, good selection of drinks, and it's just almost impossible to get in there when school's in session. Cause it's just a hotbed of college kids, man. Like they go out there, they pregame and they go out on Dixon, and it's impossible. And so we're like, hey man, like the kids are gone. This is the perfect time. And well, here we are. And so I don't know, but my wife's a rock star. Like, so I jumped out of the car and started setting up and, was scrambling all over the place trying to find my microphone. Cause I had it packed in case we had to do this in Branson, and, getting everything set up. And then she's like, I'm leaving. I'm going to find some food, bring it back. So she's back now. I assume she did that, or she might've just said, you know what, forget this dude. He ain't eating tonight because he's not going to shave the mustache. If she did that, that's fine too. Still love her. So whatever. Anyway, we got to get out of here, man. This is crazy. Oh, good times. We'll be back, people. I don't know when. It won't be tomorrow though, unless something crazy happens. I'd be all right for a little birthday commitment action if it was somebody cool. So whatever. But
it's got to be a nice player.
Yeah, got to be a nice player. But be on the lookout for it. We're really going to have our eyes on everything that's going on, because this has the potential of being a pretty spicy week. Again, with Igor Dimmon's season being over, his recruitment heating up, several guys, probably up to a dozen guys who really have a tough decision to make. NBA or college, they have until Wednesday to make that choice. And then really the final pool is going to be narrowed down on who Arkansas is going to zero in on for that final spot. So we'll be all over it. It'll be a good time. But appreciate you guys for rocking with us as always. For Scottie Bordelon, it's been Curtis Wilkerson with Natty State Sports, the Pot at the Palace, and we will catch you guys really, really soon. You guys enjoy the holiday.